Hey guys, my name is Dari and welcome to my channel. Today I was given a few hours off this afternoon. My boss actually wrote me and told me that I could take off a few hours early, so I was very happy about that. And I decided to come down to the studio to sew. I actually have a project on the table, as you can see behind me. If you remember, the Adrienne Blouse is part of my spring sewing plan, and I actually wanted to make this so I could actually make a top for my birthday, which is actually next week. But honestly speaking, I have no idea if I'm gonna make it because the intention was to wear it tomorrow, which is gonna be Saturday, and I had hoped to go out in it, but to be honest, it's kind of cold still. I mean, duh, I'm working on spring makes, but we've had some really weird weather. Like some days it's warm, other days cold. So I think tomorrow's supposed to be a little chilly, but we'll see. So I had actually already made a toile or a muslin of the Adrienne Blouse. I had to work on an FBA. So let me show you that because it's a crazy looking pattern. Look at this. Look at what I had to do there. Isn't that crazy? This is a dartless FBA where I removed the waist dart that a dartless FBA creates. So even removing the waist dart, like there was plenty of room in the waist section. And I want to show you my initial make. I really loved how it turned out, but the fabric isn't ideal. Like I don't think that the fabric is fabulous or anything, but it was part of, something that I had in my stash. So I wanted to go ahead and use it up while I worked on the FBA. I actually did two Adrienne Blouses out of the same fabric to test it. The initial size that I cut out was a large because I wanted it to fit a little tighter at the top, and then of course do an FBA to fit the chest. But I realized after making my first Adrienne Blouse, it was still a little too snug. Like this pattern honestly calls for quite a bit of negative ease. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 6 inches plus negative ease, so it's quite fitted on the chest. Had I not done the FBA, I honestly don't think that it would have even fitted me. I will say that as part of the instructions, the designer does state that the pattern was drafted on a B cup. So I already knew automatically that I had to do an FBA for it, just given the fact that it had such high amount of negative ease. So anyway, I did an FBA adding 4.5 inches. So I'm going to show you here on my mannequin the second toile that I made, or muslin that I made. And this second one fits me way better. So much better that I was like, let me just go ahead and make the pattern out of the actual fabric that I had purchased for this pattern. So give me a second. All right, so for this one, looks like I'm gonna have to squat a little bit because I couldn't get the full picture of the blouse in the camera. So if I look a little awkward, that's why. Anyway, so here it is. And as you can see, this mannequin is actually set up in my actual size. So as you can see, it fits, it's quite fitted. But there's plenty of room now, especially in the waist section, because to be honest, this pattern is not only fitted in the bust, but it is quite fitted on the belly. And I bloat sometimes. I have issues, and I don't really want a pattern to be that tight on my body. So anyway, I decided that as part of the FBA, like having that extra room here would be perfect because I really don't want it too tight anyway. So as you can see though, it fits perfectly. It fits the bust perfectly. The shoulders turned out really nice. I was afraid that there was gonna be some gaping, but actually I don't really have an issue with the gaping. And it would help me if I could just stitch this part down, the neck band down. I didn't stitch it down, I should. If I do that, then it'll lay flatter on my chest. But I'm very satisfied with how this turned out. I will say that I had to cut the sleeves a little shorter because I ran out of fabric. So this is not even the full length of the sleeve, and it still looks really good. Like, it hits me right here, but it still looks really, really good. So anyway, that's all for that. Let's go ahead and move into the making of my Adrienne blouse out of the real fabric that I intend to make it out of. So stay tuned. I actually got this fabric from Joann's a month or so ago, and I had been looking for something very specific, but I couldn't find it anywhere. I was actually looking for like a fabric with small ditzy flowers, and I just couldn't find it anywhere. I don't know. I wanted like green leaves and little tiny flowers on a black background, and I just couldn't find it. So I was very disappointed. So I ended up just getting a fabric that I thought was pretty and that will look good in this particular design. So actually we're gonna have to fold the neckband, both pieces, because we're gonna be attaching it to the actual neck part of the pattern. Okay, something that I did want to mention about this pattern that I thought was really weird is that both sides, oh, let me backtrack. The front and the back pattern piece is the same. So I thought that was really interesting. And so this piece right here matches both the front and the back because obviously it's the same piece. So that's what I'm going to attach right now. But I just thought that was so strange. And also the grading between extra large and extra large is a little odd too. Like, there seems to be like a gap. If you look at the pattern, you'll see what I'm talking about. If you have it, there seems to be like a gap. So I just thought the grading was a little bit strange as well. But I mean, it worked out. I'm sure it's easy to make adjustments. But just keep that in mind if you decide to make this pattern. Okay, so I have added the neckband and now I'm just gonna serge it so that I can stitch it down, because I tried to zigzag stitch it on and it started warping, which I absolutely detest, and I didn't like it. So I took out the stitching, I added a basting stitch, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do the serging. So to be honest, this is actually what I need to do with my muslin. I did not actually edge stitch it, and I should have, because that's going to help prevent the garment from forming a gape between my skin and the garment itself. So I gotta do that. That's next. Okay, something that I did a little differently in comparison to the muslin that I made was I added 2 inches so that the top could be just a little bit longer. But honestly, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be okay. Like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it, because the other one was a good length, but I did want it to be a little bit longer, but I'm not sure if 2 inches was too much, but we'll see if I need to fix that later or not. The one thing I like about this pattern is that it does come together really, really quickly, in my opinion. Like when I was testing the FBA, I literally made the shirt in, well, I made 2, right? So I made it in no time. So I do like that a lot about this pattern. Oops, I forgot to matches and notches first. I think I'm going to prepare my sleeves next because literally what I'm going to be doing are quite a few straight stitches. So if I can just prep the top part of the sleeve, which I have to just press this down, and then I'm going to be inserting elastic, and then the next step would literally just be sewing up the seam. So straight stitch, straight stitch, straight stitch on both sides of the bodice. I mean, it's gonna come together pretty quickly. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and prep this, insert the elastic, and the next thing would be to attach to the body. It's getting a little late and I'm a little worried that I'm not going to get this done tonight. So it's all good. I think I'm gonna get a good chunk of it done. But right now I'm actually inserting the elastic, so I'll be doing that for a little bit, and once I get that inserted, I'll just continue with the sleeve and get that prepped and ready to go. And yeah, I'm moving along. I mean, I'm making progress. It's how it is sometimes. I did run into a couple of complications with the zigzag stitch earlier, so that kind of slowed me down, but it's all good. It happens every so often. Okay, do not mind my bra strap. In fact, maybe I'll cover it up like this. All right, so here's the top. Okay, on camera, as suspected, it does add a lot of volume. Like the print itself just makes my chest look a little bit bigger, like I suspected. That's okay though. I'm gonna finish this garment, you know, regardless. But I noticed wearing this, and I noticed this also on the muslin, that it's very curved. I added 2 inches, as you recall, and it's just really long now and too curved for me. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pinch out the sides because I don't like that, you know, my shirt poking out to the sides that way either. It's not really touching my hips. So I'm gonna pinch out a little bit here. I can feel that I can feel right here that's just a tiny bit tight. So what I think I'm gonna do is I am going to, instead of sewing at 5/8 of an inch, which is the recommended seam allowance, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sew at 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch on this side, 1/2 inch. I'm gonna have to do the same thing on the sleeves, which is fine. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna chop off this whole curved section. Same for the back, because it is quite long. So I think I'm gonna just go ahead and make it straight, actually. I don't like the curved look. And I think once I cut that off and fix it up how I want it, I think I should be good to go. So, and I've already prepared the sleeves. So the elastic is in. So now all I have to do is sew this at 1/2 inch and attach it, and I should be good to go. I am at the sleeve part. I'm putting in the elastic right now, and I noticed something weird in the instructions. In case you plan on making the Adrienne blouse, I will just recommend something real quick. In the instructions, it says that you are to fold over 5/8 of an inch and then stitch at 5/8 of an inch, which I thought that was really strange because I wouldn't want to stitch at 5/8 of an inch if that's what I'm turning over or turning under. I recommend that you fold under 3/4 of an inch and stitch at 5/8 of an inch so that your 1/2 inch elastic can actually fit all the way around. And as you can see, this is at 5/8 of an inch stitch, and you can see that the elastic, oh, that poked me. You can see that the elastic touches. It's like right there. So I don't think that you should be doing 5/8 of an inch. You should definitely be folding under a 3/4 and stitching at 5/8 of an inch so that it can fit nicely. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys that because I noticed that and I thought that was a little strange. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up because I'm down to the last step after this, which is literally attaching the sleeves, and that's it, and I'll be done. And I'm a happy camper because today we had some really strong winds. I was supposed to go out with my sister today to celebrate my birthday weekend, but I couldn't, unfortunately, because of the winds, and so I stayed home and finished this. So that's okay because it'll be just in time for my birthday, so I'm very happy about that. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to sewing. So I'm almost done. I'm excited. And I just actually tried the top on and it looks so freaking cute. So cute. I'm super happy with this project. So almost there. I'll show you next what it looks like on the mannequin, and after that I'll show you how I styled it. So stay tuned. All right. I am all done. Super excited. See? I'm super excited. I'm gonna show you the mannequin now.